Hey, so how's it going? So, I watch a lot of political pundits and political commentators, and because I watch so many, I think I'm an expert, really. Frankly, I'm an expert of all things, but I'm an expert now on political pundits, and I wanted to talk about how I would rank them, and how, maybe if you haven't listened to some of these ones, you should check them out. To show my biases, I'm pretty left-wing, and I watch a lot of, left-wing commentators, but I also watch a lot of right-wing ones, and some center of the road, not something you would say political commentators, but along the same lines. I'll get to that when it gets there, but I do watch left and right-wing ones, but you won't see many right-wing ones up the top, because I don't watch a lot of them because I like them. I watch a lot of them because I feel it's kind of cringe. I don't know, so we'll get to it, and we'll see.
So let's just jump into it.
So, Kyle Kulinski. So, Kyle Kulinski is one of he's all-time favorites, so Secular Talk, alright? So, his show is excellent. So, multiple segments a day, and he's excellent. So, originally he was more of like talking smack on churches. Talking politics as well, but he was very interested in atheist, sentiment, which, I'm interested in because, I'm non-religious. New Zealand is where I live, and we're also very non-religious in this country. And so I think it's really interesting, his perspective that he has. He kind of originally had a very pompous, I'm atheist, and, you should listen to me because, flying spaghetti monster type deal. But I think he's matured a lot more on his rhetoric on that stuff. And now he's more on the, more about politics, more of a, left-wing, libertarian views on politics. Very pro-free speech, pro-free healthcare, pro-free university. He was a big Bernie Sanders guy, big on, AOC. He actually founded Justice Democrats, which is the organization that got AOC and Ilhan Omar and a bunch of others to get, to get their jobs and to primary Democratic challenges in the U.S. Congress. And, he puts his, he walks the walk, other than, doesn't just talk the talk. He's not associated with Justice Democrats anymore, something I'll get onto later when I talk about his partner that he worked with. But, so I think he is the place to go if you want good left-wing political commentary. So, we're starting on a high, and I'm gonna put him, so I'm gonna put him on S tier if I can find him on this list. There he is. Kyle Kulinski. I love him. Kyle Kulinski, S tier.
And also Bernie stands for something, stands for an agenda that's wildly popular, especially at a time like right now, where we have a pandemic and we have an economic implosion and we have a looming housing crisis. This guy's got the solutions. All Joe Biden had was Donald Trump is bad. Yeah, we agree he's bad, but what are you actually going to do? What are you going to do?
All right, who do we have next? David Pakman. David Pakman, he's an interesting guy. All right, so I like him. He's actually one of the people that really got me into, watching left-wing pundits talk about politics, and really, helped me understand my views on a lot of things. But recently, he's really got into, Orange Man bad, let's just shit on Trump, and he's really got a lot more lib, a lot more centristy. He hasn't really ditched his left-wing views, but I feel like he is trying to soften them, and I think it's a shame. I think he might be doing it to get more broad appeal, because he recognizes that making videos shitting on Trump is, get some more views, and I think it's a shame, because I think he's really good. I think his studio is really well polished. I think his show is really good. That is one you can watch as you listen to a podcast with a David Pakman show, and I think he does do really interesting segments, alright? So he does do good segments on what is going on, some very nitty-gritty stuff. He does some good interviews. He said, back in the day, he had Richard Spencer on. That's a great interview, because David Pakman's of Jewish descendants, right? And he's talked to Richard Spencer, a very white nationalist guy, talking about how oh, we've got to have an ethno state, get rid of all these colors out of America, all that stuff. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but do you denounce the actions of Adolf Hitler?
I'm not going to play this game.
Oh, it's not a
you
game.
Throw out historical figures and I denounce them. I mean, do you denounce Stalin? Do you denounce Pol Pot? I mean, look,
yeah.
The National Socialist Germany, it's part of history. It's not who I am.
No, I'm not asking if Hitler is part of history, but so you don't denounce Hitler when asked, is what you're saying.
I really admire him for his for who he interviews and who he talk to and things like that, and he can get some like good stuff, like some good like doctors and scientists and stuff to talk about the occasional stuff, and I really enjoy it. He's been on Joe Rogan a couple of times. He's had some great clips. Kyle Kalinske, from before, has also been on Joe Rogan a couple of times, and excellent interviews. And so is David Pakman. He's very knowledgeable, and I think he is very good for the left. But I wish you'd go back to some more of his hardcore views. Does that make sense? Like, because he's gone more to the center instead of sticking to his roots or what he used to argue for. Like, he's kind of like quieted down on Medicare for all and things like that, saying, oh, maybe it's not possible, maybe we should have a public option, maybe you shouldn't go for Medicare for all. Regardless of your views on Medicare for all, I think it's a shame for someone to disavow their views or kind of soften their views because they feel like they would get a better kick out of it for political reasons or for to get more people watching his show. I think that's a shame. So at the moment, I'm gonna put Pakman at an A. I think it's a shame. Even A, I feel is too high for him. I think I'm actually gonna put him in B. I think he's just getting worse and worse, and I watch him less and less now, and it is a shame. It's a shame. Sorry, David. Please, pick up your content. I don't want to. I feel bad. All right, Sam Cedar. Sam Cedar has a great show. Different ideas on the show, because not only set from Sam Cedar's perspective, which I would say Sam Cedar is very similar to Kyle Kalinske. I think they would probably get on really well. I don't think they're not that close. Obviously like left wing pundits, probably communicate a lot. They compare notes, all these ideas, but I don't think they're that close. He's a great debater, Sam Cedar. But side point. But Sam Cedar is more of the a social democrat type ideology, but the people he works with has a vast variety of left-wing ideology, such as he had Michael Brooks working for him, he's more of a socialist, and then he has this girl Jamie working in the back, who's a hardcore communist, who I disagree with, and when she talks up, I kind of cringe at some of the ideas that she brings up, and some of the things that Michael brings up, but I'd probably identify more with Sam's point of view, but I like his show. It creates a nice, vast concept of what the left is offering, and if you don't agree with one person, you can agree with another person, and I think it's really good. I really enjoy it. So I love Sam Cedar, and I'm going to put him in A tier if I can find him on this thing. It is a shame how this jumbles it all up, and I can never find them. No. Oh no, there he is. Sam Cedar. He also has a very similar background to David Pakman. They have these checkers, and it's pretty funny. Michael Brooks. So I talked about Michael Brooks, and he was on the Sam Cedar show called The Majority Report, and he has his own show called The Michael Brooks Show. They really dive deep into very nitty gritty policy. So it's not for the faint of heart. I think that someone like a Kyle Kalinske, David Pakman, Sam Cedar, they target the things that people want to know about, or things that they think that other people should know. And it's very informative, very descriptive, but Michael Brooks goes hard. He goes hard. He goes into the nitty-gritty policy details of Venezuela, of talking about, other countries, like African countries. I've learned a lot about Africa from just watching Michael Brooks talk shit, he's so insightful and so knowledgeable. And sadly, he passed away early this year. I was shocked. I was really depressed, for quite a while. And obviously, nothing to his friends and his family, right? Obviously, they're not making the Michael Brooks show anymore. I don't believe. Maybe some of his friends are still working on the show. The people who worked on it with him, but I'm not sure. I haven't watched it in a while. I haven't checked it out. But it is a shame, and it saddens me really. And yeah, but Yeah, like, he's a missed voice on the Sam Cedar show, on the Majority Report. And I think Sam Cedar's shows might go down and down without Michael. And it's a shame. And Michael Brooks was, godsend. He was amazing. And if I can find him on this thing, which I can never do, why would I ever be able to find people on here? Where is he? Oh my god. There he is. Michael Brooks. You're S tier, my dude. I miss you, Michael. It's sad. Yeah, it's sad. Like, I didn't watch him enough. I feel like I really missed out. Alright, so I've got the Young Turks, and that's including Cenk Uygur and all the others that are on the show. And because I don't really separate any of them because I feel like they're really down the same lines and they don't really say anything too different. I enjoy them. They're one of the biggest platforms of left-wing concepts online, on YouTube. And yeah, they do some good stuff. They interview some good people, but ultimately I feel like from the fact that they act as if they're quite left-wing, like Kyle Klinsky and Sam Cedar and Michael Brooks. But then they still go hard on things like the Russia probes that were going on and all that stuff. And I think it's a shame how much they act like they're not going for the partisan stuff, and they do go for the partisan stuff. I don't know. They're kind of the normie, left-wing people to watch. I don't know. Like, I feel like that's a bit sad, not only to them but to their viewers, which I think they probably have a vast overlay with Kyle Klinsky and David Pakman and whatnot. But I think that the Young Turks just, I don't know, they just don't bring a whole lot to the table. They can be really triggered, they can be really goofy, they can, I don't know. I'm kind of turned more off from the Young Turks. So Cenk Uygur, the founder of Young Turks, was actually with Kyle Klinsky, a good friend of Kyle Klinsky's, because Kyle Klinsky used to work with the Young Turks. He used to be part of their program, or their network at least. And him and Cenk Uygur founded Justice Democrats together with some people who were from My Revolution, or Our Revolution I should say, which was Bernie Sanders' organization that sprouted from Bernie Sanders' first run in 2016. Cenk Uygur left Justice Democrats because of some falling out between the staff, because he can be a bit edgy. He can make some pretty on the borderline jokes, which I don't have a problem with. And I think back in the day he's made a lot worse jokes and stuff. And so he left because he more or less left, kind of got kicked out, and Kyle left with him. And I feel like Justice Democrats could be a lot different if they were still there. Maybe they could still be doing a lot more stuff. Where would you? That's another question about how much they've done since getting that first, AOC, Ilhan Omar people, elected. But they still do good work, and I think that, Young Turks is still good. Cenk Uygur actually ran for Congress and got wrecked, and I mean wrecked. And he broke a bunch of records to collect money and shit, and he just got wrecked. I don't know what to say. He just wasn't a good option. I don't know. So I think I'm gonna put them B tier as well, Young Turks. I think Anna Kasparian, I remembered her name now, would be the same tier as Cenk. I don't really separate them that much. I don't enjoy either of them too much more than the other. Hassan Piker, I believe I pronounced his name right. So Hassan is Cenk Uygur's nephew, I believe, and I don't watch him enough. To be honest, I don't. And the problem is because he's on Twitch, and he streams on Twitch, and I feel like, because of the long form of Twitch, and I'm never in the mood to watch a whole Twitch stream, the fact that it's such a long form makes it harder to watch. But I do feel like it's a much needed person on the platform doing long form conversations about left wing politics. But I just think that the Twitch format just isn't for me, and I think that's a shame. I think he's very intelligent. When he was on the H3 podcast, which I'm quite a big fan of, when he was on the H3 podcast, he was very informative, he was very interesting. I think he's a really interesting guy. I'd like to watch him more. I think it would be great if was he on Joe Rogan? If he hasn't been on Joe Rogan, I hope he is. If he has, I will probably go check it out soon. And I love Joe Rogan. And so Hassan, I'll probably put C tier, but I think I could see me putting him higher in the future. I think he is a very interesting person.
And if there's one thing that I fucking know for a fact, without a single shred of a doubt, if aliens have come to this planet before, you bet your fucking ass they did not go to a cornfield in Iowa. Even political campaigns only go to Iowa every 4 years because they have to.
Jimmy Dore. Jimmy Dore, his show is so budget. Like, more than, like, he looks like he's recording in his bedroom like me with some shitty props behind him. Like, his show is low budget, he's a bit of a conspiracy theorist. He used to be on the Young Turks, and he had a bit of disagreements because he's quite big on the, like, conspiracy theories, and quite big on the, like, he's very, I don't even know how to phrase it. He's just very distrusting. Everything is a conspiracy theory. Everything is a plot to destroy the left. And, you know, like, I don't disagree that, you know, that the centrist Democrats want to destroy the real left and all that stuff. But it's just, he's a bit of a crackpot. I think he was really hard in the primaries for the election. He was very hard on Tulsi Gabbard, and he was a hard supporter of Tulsi Gabbard, I should say, and he supported her, you know, thick and thin, and said that Bernie Sanders was garbage, and you know, other lefties were garbage, like, you know, Andrew Yang, or I don't know, you know, Elizabeth Warren, you know, to some extent. And it was like, only Tulsi Gabbard is the option. And because she went on his show and Bernie Sanders wouldn't go on his show, and, you know, it's kind of cringe. Yeah, so I don't really like him that much, but yeah, I'm gonna put him F tier. I don't ever want to watch Jimmy Dore. I think he's not that good. When he's on Joe Rogan, he's alright, but, you know, he's not amazing. He's not amazing. I'm sorry, I'm just not the biggest fan of Jimmy Dore. Who do we have next? The Progressive Voice. This guy is the guy that I'm biting this whole segment from. He has some great videos on ranking some, putting tier lists for political, people, but he only lists it from left-wing perspectives. Because I think because from what I'm doing, it's more of an opinion on what I like. Well, what he's doing is, who is great for the left-wing cause in the movement, right? And it's different, right? Because, you know, you can see it different from who's better for lefty people, and I'm saying who I just like regardless. So, you know, my thing is all take a million grains of salt in what I'm doing. But I do really like him. He's very low budget. I think he's really trying to bite what Kyle Kulinski's done. He seems to be a big fan of Kyle Kulinski, and tries to copy him, and it shows. He doesn't have a great set like Kyle Kulinski. He interviewed Kyle Kulinski once, and it was a very good interview. It was quite enjoyable. But, you know, his production quality is very low. I think he doesn't really dive that deep into anything, which is a shame. I don't think he actually brings that much insight into any concepts and ideas, which is something. So I've put him in B tier. I do like him. I'd like him more than Young Turks, but he's not amazing, I think. But he's got a lot of room for improvement, I think. Ugh. I haven't watched Destiny. Didn't he get banned from Twitch recently? I don't even know why I put him on here. I don't watch him that much. The main thing I've seen from him is that debate he had with, what's his name? JonTron.
By the way, Europe and America, it's not different. Even though you say it's different, it's not.
What do you think is similar? It's totally different. We're incomparable places, dude. The United States is a massive country that has a massive border to the south of an unstable country. It's way different than, say, the United Kingdom, right? Who wasn't even having serious immigration issues, whose entire economy in place in the EU makes them a very special country, which is much different than the country of Germany, which has had a massive budget surplus year after year after year, even after taking in fucking 1 million fucking refugees, which is massively different than any of the Nordic countries, than Sweden, Finland, Norway. All of these places are all very different. It's a very, I'm not trying to be mean, but it's a very American thing to say all of these European countries have the same problem. That's so not true. The issues that white people face in fucking Northern Ireland is going to be way different than the difference between Southern and Northern Italians. All of these problems are massively different. You can't group all of Europe's problems in together and say they're the same thing as all of America.
Destiny, I don't know, he doesn't bring that much insight to anything, I don't find. He's also on Twitch, you know, with the long form, similar to Hassan Piker, that I don't really like. I'm going to put him in F tier. Like, maybe it's just because I don't watch him enough. What we have next is Rising. So Rising so I'm more doing new media political commentators. So I'm not talking about your MSNBCs or your Fox Newses, right? But I think Rising is this great show that is in between the two. So it's trying to emulate. It emulates this kind of well, what's the old Fox News show? Red Eye. That's what it's called, Red Eye. And it had Tucker Carlson and some left-wing guy, but more centrist-y left-wing guy. And it would be like, oh, we're a news show that has a left-wing person and a right-wing person. Let's debate the facts. But really, it wasn't really that great. But this show, Rising, has Crystal Ball, which is a goofy name, and Saga, I forget his first name. And Saga's a right-wing guy, Crystal Ball's a left-wing gal. And I love Crystal. She's amazing. She brings so much insight to things. She is really charming. She's really interesting. When she was on Joe Rogan, I loved it. When she was on, and they always have Carl Kalinske on the show, which is great, because I love seeing Carl in places. I can't rate Rising just based on Crystal Ball, can I? But, so this is just based on Carl Kalinske going in their show. But, so this is just for Crystal Ball, this rating, because I'm going to list Saga later. But Crystal Ball, I'm going to have to put A tier. I think she's great, and I think the show in general is really good. Now, let's go to right wingers that I watch. So, as I said, a lot of them are to laugh at, a lot of them are to cringe at a little bit. We'll see. So let's go Saga first. So he's the other guy on Rising, and he's a nice counterbalance to Crystal. He's a nice alternative to Crystal, and they wrote a book together. He's more of a populist on the right, but I don't see a huge difference for him and a lot of other right wingers too much. Compared to a Tucker Carlson. But see, I say that, and I still think Tucker Carlson's one of the better people on Fox News, right? Because I think he does bring a lot of insight. So I'll give Saga a C. I do like him, but a lot of his views aren't really compatible with mine. I still think a lot of his stuff is wrong. And yeah, so I'll give him a C. But yeah, but Rising is still worth it just to watch Crystal Ball. She's great. Yeah, she's excellent. Alright, Steven Crowder. Steven Crowder. Changed my mind if Steven Crowder is bad. Steven Crowder is when hardcore religious fanatics, when they've sinned, they'll beat themselves and they'll hurt themselves because they feel like they're closer to God. That's what I am when I watch Steven Crowder. Steven Crowder irks me. I don't know why I watch him. It hurts every time I watch, but I watch him. He's so smug. He's so arrogant. And he's so popular. He has over 2 million views. 2 million subscribers, I should say. And he has a very nice studio, very high quality. But his takes are terrible. He's always on the opposite side. Every time I could think of an argument, he is on the opposite side. He's borderline very racist, borderline homophobic. He is pretty cringe. And his show has so many, legitimate people coming on, like Ted Cruz and Rudy Giuliani. Maybe he's even interviewed Trump. I'm not sure about that, but he's definitely interviewed those other two. And it's but he believes the earth is 6 million years old, or 6,000 years old, or however long, the Bible says. He's a hardcore Christian. The evolution isn't real. Vaccines are bad, probably. I think I'm putting that view in his mouth, but I don't know. So he has this segment. You would have seen the memes of "Change My Mind." So he'll go to a university or a college campus, and he'll sit in a booth and say, "COVID deaths are overrated. Change my mind," or Amy Coney Barrett should be put on the Supreme Court. Change my mind. And he's not looking to get his mind changed. He's looking to make fun of some college kids who don't have any facts on hand. Steven Crowder has done a lot of research and kind of bombards them with some facts. Or, facts. And then he expects these people to be able to counteract their arguments. Well, you're off the bat. And to make it worse, he has all his fans standing around and cheering for him and booing everyone else. And it's such a bad format, and people claim it's good. Ugh, it's so bad. F tier. I don't know why, But I'll keep watching Steven Crowder. He makes me want to kill myself.
Okay. Is it art or is this your business?
Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro.
Is this your business?
Thank you, bro.
It's not your business?
The interview is over. I'm gonna start recording. You keep harassing
Is this a business?
me. Yeah.
Is it your business?
Now. No.
Okay. Let's have someone call the police about if it's to find out if it's a business.
Yeah.
What am I bullshitting?
Yeah. Why you bullshitting?
No, he's
allowed
not.
to do this. I'm not all over the news.
Because it's private property.
I'm part of
Maybe the business owner is fine with
I'm
it.
part of the community association.
Okay. What does that mean?
Deep Ellum Community Association.
Is allowing people
I'm
to
the
paint.
vice president. We allow busking and we allow murals.
So who's the name of this business owner? What's his name?
I don't know.
It's none of your business.
Is he okay with it? Don't get behind
He's
me.
been okay
None
with
of
it
your
twice. He's done this twice.
The business owner?
More than
No,
once.
he's done this twice.
He's done this twice at the business.
Business is
Y'all
okay
see this?
with it.
What's the name of the business owner? Who's
He's
okay
using
with
his
it?
white privilege to try to stop me.
Well, if it's vandalism,
JJ McCulloch. I love him. So he is a Canadian, like, he's borderline not even a pundit, really. So he makes some really great conservative Canadian videos about how Canada works, about their flags, about how their parliament works, how the Senate is bad, how, how people shouldn't be speaking French in Canada, things like that. Like, he brings some really interesting insight in a country that I don't know a lot about. I feel like I've kind of bit his concept by making this channel, and I feel like I'd like to, like, if I could be more like JJ, I think this channel would be better. I really enjoy his content, and I watch it every week when it comes out, and it's great. I love JJ, and he's a Canadian conservative, so is there even a real conservative? Come on. But I think he's great. I'll put him A tier, not too far, because I disagree with him on key fundamental ideas, but I think his show's really good, and he's not really a political pundit, not to the same likes as a Ben Shapiro or a Steven Crowder or a Kyle Klinsky or Sam Cedar are, right? Like, he's not doing the daily political content. He's more historically talking about ideas and things that are going on, which it brings something to the table, and it's very interesting, especially his Canadian perspective, because I don't watch any other Canadian pundits, and I think he can tell me a lot about Canada that I don't know, and I think it's really good, because obviously a lot of the pundits I watch are from the US, so yeah, it's really enjoyable. Charlie Kirk, I don't watch a lot of Charlie Kirk. I've seen a few debates that he has done. I wanted to beef this content out with some right wingers that I watch, but yeah, I don't watch a lot of Charlie Kirk. He's one of the founders of Turning Point USA, which is a pretty shit organization. He's not a good debater. I don't like him. I've heard Candace Owens, who I'll get to later, say that Charlie Kirk could be the president of the United States. And I believe it, for the type of people that Republicans put up, George Bush, Donald Trump type people. Charlie Kirk could be the next one. Why not? But he wouldn't be a good one, obviously. Like, he's pretty embarrassing, I think.
As I say, well, hold on now. It's proven that he took $300,000 from the Saudis while in office. He's like, oh, that doesn't count either. So whether they're in office or they're out of office, it doesn't matter, and it's not corruption. Well, isn't that fucking convenient? That's super convenient, isn't it?
Here's the other thing that really fascinates me, and maybe you can explain it to me, Kyle, is that when you own international assets and you become president of the United States, are you just supposed to sell everything?
Yes! Yes!
Wow.
But, speaking of Candace Owens, I don't like her very much. She's pretty embarrassing. I don't know if I'd put her F tier, though. Like, she has some interesting ideas. The amount that Republicans hate on identity politics, and then they pursue someone like Candace Owens, who's a black conservative female who's constantly pulling the race card and constantly going, "Are you calling me stupid? Is it because I'm black?" type thing, and it really annoys me. It's like, Republicans hate celebrities unless they're Republican, then they love them, right? They go, shut up, celebrities, but if they're Republican, they love them, right? They go, minorities, stay in your place. That's kind of straw manning, but when she was on Joe Rogan, she was embarrassing. She doesn't believe in climate change. She doesn't believe in global warming. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
And
you don't think we have to care about the environment? Like, what do you...
No, not even a little bit.
Yikes. Jesse Lee Peterson excellent. Sorry, amazing.
Amazing, 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 amazing.
This guy is, I think he follows the same thing. I don't understand how anyone can actually enjoy Jesse Lee Peterson and not, enjoy unironically. You know, like, I love him, ironically. He is so fun, because he barely knows the English language. I think people like him because he's black. He's black, and he spouts the right-wing stuff that if a white Republican said it, they would be called racist. But you can't because he's black. And he's super homophobic, super transphobic. Oh my god. Amazing. And he's a terrible debater, terrible conversationalist. Like, I don't watch his show that much. I watch it very occasionally, but whenever I see it, I love it. Definitely watch some stuff. I'll add some stuff here, but he is incredible.
Rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man, because most males today are beta males.
Right.
We're men, so we're showing them how to overcome being a beta male.
S tier, my dudes. Oh, Dave Rubin. Oh, Dave Rubin and his ideas. So Dave Rubin is such an interesting guy. So he used to be a member of the Young Turks, and he has progressively gone more right-wing as the years have progressed. And weirdly, it kind of corresponds to the amount of Koch brother money that gets pumped into his wallet. Weird how that happens. He's a grifter, you know, he just says whatever to get paid. And the right-wingers love him because he's gay. And it's the same reason you love Candace Owens and Jesse Lee Peterson. You know, you love the minorities that spout the anti-minority bullshit. I think he's fun. He's really fun, actually. Like, I don't want to put two memes in the A tier, in S tier, but I'm going to. Like, watch Dave Rubin talk about getting rid of all government restrictions and regulations for, like, building codes, because he thinks that people will write good Yelp reviews, because he claims that, oh, I like the idea of a libertarian society, and I'm a social libertarian, you know, on social issues, but on things like regulation, it's ridiculous to think that Yelp reviews will be fucking, get in the way of regulation. You know, will be a better alternative than regulation. It's so stupid, but he's so fun to watch. He's so stupid.
Problem would you, everything you're building here right now, right? Do you want the government to tell you how to do all these things and all the regulations that you got to have your electric thing this far from this and like all
the regulations like that for construction are important though. You do have to make sure that people don't do stupid shit.
But
make sure you don't have a power lines near a water line. There's a lot of.
But I would put most of that on the builders though. They want to build things that are good. Now I get it.
That's not true. Listen, people
people are going to build
corners all the time. Like, you have to have regulations when it comes to construction methods, or people are going to get fucked.
They cut corners when there are regulations anyway.
They do. They would cut a lot more if there weren't regulations.
I'm not totally.
You go to third world countries and look at construction methods; they're fucking dangerous.
Yeah.
That's why schools collapse on kids in foreign countries sometimes. Like.
Well, I'm not telling you that I'm against all regulation, period. That's where I said intellectually I like that argument.
I've been hurting my brain with watching this guy recently, the last few weeks, of Don't Walk, Run. He's kind of like a John Oliver type, you know, show, talking about an idea, watching clips, all these things, with like a theme going through the video. Say, you know, breaking down something like free university or something, then he'll say why it's a terrible idea and stuff. But he is so partisan. It's embarrassing. And so I'm going to put him in F tier. But just like watching Steven Crowder, I watch it because I hate myself and I love to argue with my computer and yell at him going, that's not what that means, what are you talking about? Tim Pool is really interesting when he talks about social media companies like Facebook and Twitter and all that stuff, and the amount of monopoly that they have over people. And I think he brings up some really interesting topics when he talks about it. And that's what I enjoy about him. He's fun on Joe Rogan, but I don't watch his show that much. I normally just see him interviewed on other people's show like Steven Crowder and stuff. Like, he's okay. I'll put him in D tier. Ben Shapiro. So a lot of people are probably going to expect me to put Ben Shapiro in F tier. You know, like the Steven Crowders and Don't Walk, Run. I don't think so. I think Ben Shapiro is actually, you know, he's partisan. He's a bit goofy on some of his ideas. Like, he wrote a book saying we should ban porn. Like, ugh. And then he tries to claim he's a libertarian. Ugh, ridiculous. But I think he has principles most of the time. He stands by them most of the time. I think he's very critical on his side. Similar to how a Kyle Kalinske will criticize someone like Joe Biden or Hillary Clinton or Obama for doing, centrist-y and right-wing things. Ben Shapiro will criticize someone like Donald Trump or Ted Cruz or whatever for not following through on right-wing ideas. So I could disagree with Ben Shapiro on many topics, but I think he brings a lot to the table for the right, and I think he's really interesting. I love him playing the violin. It's good fun. But so I'm actually not in the camp of shitting on Ben Shapiro. I think he's had some bad interviews, like his famous interview with that British reporter where he kind of went off the rails.
You purport to be an objective journalist. BBC purports to be an objective down-the-middle network. It obviously is not, it never has been, and you as a journalist are proceeding to call one side of the political aisle ignorant, barbaric, and sending us back to the Dark Ages. Why don't you just say that you're on the left? Is this so hard for you? Why can't you just be honest?
Mr.
Seriously,
Shapiro,
it's a serious question.
Mr. Shapiro, if you only knew how ridiculous that statement is, you wouldn't have said it.
I think he was just having a bad day. You can take a political personality and you can get some bad takes from them when they're having bad days and take bad ideas from them. But I think if you watch his Sunday special show, you watch him on Joe Rogan, I think he has some clear ideas that I may disagree with, but I can see where he's getting his ideas from. A lot of his ideas coming from his religious, Jewish background, but which I disagree with where he gets those morals from, right? And he is very atheists can't be moral and all that shit, which I'm not too into. But I do really like him. I'm gonna put him B tier. I'm bordering on A tier, right? But nah, he's B tier, but B for Ben. But he's enjoyable. I don't shit on him like the rest of the left does, And yeah, so but he has a big network that he has multiple people on. I don't watch all of his people's stuff, but I do watch Michael Knowles a bit. Michael Knowles. I do not like Michael Knowles. He's a Catholic guy, similar to Ben Shapiro, getting a lot of his beliefs from his Catholic background. And very conservative, but very authoritarian, very, I'm going to tell you how to live your life. I don't like it. He's, watch him do the political compass quiz, not only does he not, read the questions properly, which annoy me, he says some things that I don't think I've ever seen people answer. He says that astrology has possible impacts on people's lives. That's ridiculous. What a dummy. What an absolute dummy. You believe astrology is real? You're a dummy. I don't like Michael Knowles very much. Yeah, I prefer Ben Shapiro over Michael Knowles if you're looking for a right-wing pundit. And, if you want, kind of a stupider one, watch Dave Rubin. So can you believe it? My file was corrupted for the end of this video. So you have me with a quick fire round to try to finish this up. So there was only one more conservative before I got to the middle of the road, not really pundits, and also the late night TV show hosts that I watch as well. So that's Alex Jones. Alex Jones is hilarious. I love him. I put him up in meme tier. So as you can see here, I've moved the memes from S tier to meme tier, which is above S, I would say. Very clearly better than S tier, I would say. So Alex Jones is hilarious. He is so funny. He is a huge conspiracy theorist nut. The awkward thing is him with Sandy Hook, saying how that was all a false flag and all that stuff, and it is a bit, it makes him less fun because it is a bit harsh, and he got, a lot of their parents, doxxed and things like that, and, he's fairly, when he was kicked off social media, I understand it, and it was totally fair, but he's still fun. When he's on Joe Rogan, it's the best Joe Rogan clips I've ever seen. But yeah, so I love him and I put him up in meme tier. So let's just go down through. So from S tier, I've already talked about Kyle Kalinske and Michael Brooks, sorry. So we got Jon Stewart. He's a late night show host from the Today Show. And, he's excellent. He's really the best. He's the peak of political late night shows. He is, much better than your John Olivers and your Stephen Colberts or your Bill Maher's. He is just so insightful, so funny. Like, he's hilarious. I mean, he's a comedian primarily, right? And he doesn't bullshit you. He isn't so partisan that he'll just jerk off, you know, any old Democrat, right? He held Obama to like such a high critique in, you know, in the Obama years that I don't he wouldn't even endorse him in 2012 because he said he was such a disappointment since 2008 to 2012 in his first term. And, you know, you've got to appreciate someone who can stand up for what he believes in. And he's been doing a lot of great work now, and like, he's retired now, and he's been doing a lot of great work for the first responders from 9/11, trying to get them more money and all that stuff. And I commend him. He's incredible. I think he could be president. I think if he wanted it, he could easily be president. Alright then, A-tier, I've got Joe Rogan. I love Joe Rogan. Yeah, I keep talking so much. I wouldn't call him a political pundit, and that's why I think he's not that high up, because, you know, he's a podcast host. But he has his own political opinions, and he shares them. Like, his show is so big, it has the ability to sway elections. Like, he endorsed Bernie Sanders, and then suddenly, you know, every single newspaper was writing about how Joe Rogan endorsed Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders went up multiple points in the polls, and it was ridiculous. But obviously Bernie didn't win, but it's crazy. Joe Rogan is another person I think could be president. I think he could be the Republican president, honestly. I think he could go wherever he wants. But like, he's so charming, so likable, and very insightful for like I think he is the image of what the layman is, or what the middle of the road person on certain issues could be. You know, he's the true center. This guy Pat, he is the host of Department of Conversation, which is a great New Zealand podcast. We're talking about politics, and he's great. I just wanted to really shout him out here, even though, you know, his audience is much bigger than mine anyway. But he is very enjoyable. I love his interviews of politicians and of, you know, New Zealand celebrities. He's had people like Dave Rubin and David Pakman. It's so great. Like, he's a really great conversationalist. He's a really great interviewer. You know, the thing is, he's more independent than someone like a Joe Rogan, who, like, Joe Rogan's really upfront with his views and really tries to hammer away and have a debate with whoever he's talking to on his show. Whereas Pat is more, you know, he's the medium, right? He just wants to talk to you and you give your ideas, you know, so he's not really there to share his ideas, which is fine, you know, it depends on what you want to do. So I got Sam Harris. Sam Harris is an interesting one. To be honest, I haven't seen a lot of his stuff, but he's a very interesting guy. You know, he's a new atheist. I've read bits of his book, A Letter to a Christian Nation, and it is very interesting that I do appreciate his voice in the sphere of the, you know, the battle of the religions. But I do think he's very he's borderline transphobic. I'm not sure. Like, I don't follow it too much of how he feels in that. I'm not too happy about how he talks about things like that. When it comes to police violence against black people, he's pretty shaky on that too. And when he was on Joe Rogan with Hannibal Buress, and Hannibal Buress was talking about bad situations that he has had with police, and like Sam Harris was like, oh, you know, police are fine, they don't do anything to black people. And it's like, oh, like, there was a black person next to you talking about how he was racially profiled, and you're trying to like get him with facts and logic. It's just so annoying. So we got John Oliver from Last Week Tonight. Last Week Tonight's a great show. Like, it's very not quite. It's very center left, right? And I wouldn't say it's partisan, but it really has its narrative of center leftism. It really has its narrative from the center left. You know, not really touching on things like Medicare for all and things like that. But it does bring up really interesting topics, and the show is really good at showing topics that you might not have ever thought about, like how pennies are really expensive for the country, or things like that, right? It was interesting. I haven't watched him in a little while, but he's a good show. You know, he's one of the better late night shows that are on at the moment. It's good. Hassan Minhaj, I believe that's how you pronounce his name, from Patriot Act. It's a very similar show to Last Week Tonight. It's trying to do that same type of concept, but it's just not as good. It's almost as good though, and I think he's a very funny comedian. He used to be on The Daily Show with Jon Stewart, and there's this really good stand-up special he did, which I really enjoy. But yeah, it's just not as good as John Oliver. And you know, if you're trying to copy someone, at least do it better, right? And now we're down to Bill Maher. Bill Maher is becoming the most vapid, so annoying late night show out there. He used to be really good. He used to be really funny. He used to be, like, he endorsed Bernie Sanders in 2016 and told Bernie, when he lost to Hillary Clinton, when he conceded to Hillary Clinton, he said, Bernie, run again in 2020 and I'll endorse you. And you know what he did? He endorsed Amy Klobuchar, which is insane. Like, how different are your views? You know, that you can go from Bernie Sanders to Amy Klobuchar. It's like he has a shit ton of money and he's kind of just realized that, you know, just sit on your money, chill with a Biden like administration, and you'll be fine. You know, I really think his endorsement of Bernie, you know, to look back on it now in hindsight, was just an anti-Hillary endorsement. You know, he was like, I don't like Hillary, let's endorse the competition. You know, and it's just so fucking I don't like him. Stephen Colbert he's funny sometimes, but I don't know, he's so Orange Man bad. Trump farts, Colbert will fucking have a monologue about it. You know, it's ridiculous how hard he's pushed onto Donald Trump. Like, his show, The Colbert Report, from years back, was amazing. Like, it's really good. And it's sad to see how far he's fallen. It is a shame. But you know what's fallen further? The Daily Show since Jon Stewart left. Because now it has Trevor Noah. Trevor Noah is fucking trash. Trevor Noah is so cringe. He is just so annoying. He is not funny. He is so into identity politics. He is so into just pure partisanship. And it makes me want to vomit. Like, whenever I see a clip of him, the thing that gets me the most is when Obama got out of office, he started doing, big Wall Street speeches and all that stuff, and obviously everyone was very critical of him, because Obama was the big anti, George Bush doing campaign speeches. We can't have this is bad, and then as soon as he gets out of office, he does the exact same thing as everyone else, because Obama's no different from all the other presidents. And Trevor Noah's took it as a racial thing, everyone thought it was fine when George Bush and Dick Cheney and Bill Clinton did all these speeches on Wall Street, but as soon as the black guy does it, it's such a bad thing. It's like, no, it's a bad thing because he's meant to be this liberal icon. Obama was meant to be this hope and change guy, and then he was more of the same shit guy. And the fact that you don't recognize why people are upset about it, and the fact that you think it's just it's a racial thing, it's such a pain in the fucking ass. So this is my tier list. I'm sure a few of these people can go up one or down one, but this is more or less where it is. So let me know in the comments what you think about these pundits, and if I've put them in the wrong place. And cheers for watching.